Article 1. The influence of Roman mythology on Western literature. One of the most significant impacts of Roman mythology is its role in shaping the themes of power and authority in Western literature. The Roman gods, often depicted as embodiments of different forms of power, provided a framework for understanding political and personal authority. For example, the god Jupiter, the Roman counterpart to Zeus, was a symbol of supreme power, justice, and kingship. In works like Shakespeare's Julius Caesar and Coriolanus, the interplay between divine authority and human leadership is a central theme. These works reflect the Roman belief that the favor of the gods was essential for successful governance, a theme that has been revisited in many Western literary traditions. Roman mythology also profoundly influenced the portrayal of moral and ethical dilemmas in Western literature. The gods and goddesses of Rome were not paragons of virtue, they were flawed, emotional, and often vengeful. This complexity allowed for a nuanced exploration of human morality, as the deities' actions were often unpredictable and morally ambiguous. In Virgil's Aeneid, for example, the gods constantly intervene in human affairs, sometimes helping and other times hindering the protagonist Aeneas. The capricious nature of the gods in Roman mythology has been mirrored in many Western works, such as Milton's Paradise Lost and Goats Forced, where divine intervention complicates human decision-making and moral responsibility. Roman mythology's influence on epic storytelling is another critical contribution to Western literature. Roman myths often revolved around grand narratives of heroism, warfare, and divine favor, establishing a blueprint for epic literature. The Aeneid itself served as a foundational text for Western epic poetry, combining elements of adventure, heroism, and divine will. This tradition carried through to works like Dante's Divine Comedy and Edmund Spenser's The Faerie Queene, where the grand scale of the narrative, the larger-than-life characters, and the involvement of supernatural forces can be traced back to Roman mythological patterns. Beyond epic literature, Roman mythology has also influenced the depiction of love and relationships in Western texts. Venus, the Roman goddess of love, is a recurring figure whose influence stretches across centuries. Her domain, which encompasses both romantic and physical love, is evident in works ranging from Ovid's Metamorphoses to contemporary romance novels. The trials of love, often accompanied by divine manipulation or interference, remain a popular theme in literature. Shakespeare, for example, drew extensively from Roman mythological traditions in plays like Romeo and Juliet, where the intensity and tragedy of love are framed within the context of fate and divine will. Another notable area of influence is the use of allegory and symbolism derived from Roman myths. Writers throughout the Renaissance and into the Enlightenment often used Roman deities as symbolic representations of abstract concepts like justice, war, and love. For instance, Mars, the god of war, and Minerva, the goddess of wisdom, often symbolized the conflicting aspects of human nature, violence and reason. This allegorical use of Roman gods continued into modern literature, where writers such as James Joyce and Caesar employed mythological symbolism to deepen the narrative and connect individual characters to broader, universal themes. Roman mythology's continued relevance in modern literature is perhaps most evident in the fantasy genre. Writers like J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, although more commonly associated with Norse and Christian mythologies, also drew from the Roman mythological tradition, particularly in their world building. Roman gods and heroes provided models for characters imbued with divine purpose or caught in the web of fate. Moreover, Roman mythology's emphasis on destiny and fate has been central to many modern narratives, where characters struggle against preordained paths, a concept seen in works like Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials and the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. In conclusion, the influence of Roman mythology on Western literature is profound and enduring. By providing a rich tapestry of gods, heroes, and moral quandaries, Roman myths have offered writers a versatile and enduring set of symbols and narratives. Whether through the exploration of power, morality, love, or epic heroism, the legacy of Roman mythology continues to shape Western literary traditions. Its themes remain relevant, serving as a bridge between the ancient and the modern, reminding us of the timeless nature of stories that explore the human condition. Article 2. The cultural significance of Middle Eastern cuisine. Middle Eastern cuisine is not only a source of sustenance but also a powerful symbol of cultural identity deeply rooted in centuries of history and tradition. The region, encompassing countries like Lebanon, Turkey, Iran, and Egypt, is home to an array of unique dishes that reflect its rich, diverse heritage. The flavors of Middle Eastern cuisine are influenced by a complex blend of historical, geographical, and cultural factors. It represents more than just food, it symbolizes community, hospitality, and even spirituality, with many meals tied to religious traditions. One significant feature of Middle Eastern cuisine is its ability to bring people together. In many countries, food is central to social and familial gatherings. For example, the tradition of sharing a large plate of food, such as meze or a communal pot of stew, emphasizes the importance of hospitality and the collective experience of eating. This practice reflects the value of generosity, a hallmark of Middle Eastern culture. Often, the act of preparing and consuming food becomes an important ritual that strengthens family bonds and community relationships. Historically, Middle Eastern cuisine has been shaped by trade routes and the confluence of various civilizations. The Silk Road, which connected the Middle East to Asia and Europe, brought an influx of spices, herbs, and cooking techniques that transformed the local gastronomy. The inclusion of ingredients like cinnamon, cumin, and saffron is a legacy of these early trading connections. The Ottoman Empire, which spanned much of the Middle East and beyond, also played a significant role in spreading culinary traditions as its influence extended into both Europe and Asia. Religious practices have also played a critical role in shaping the food culture of the Middle East. For example, in Islamic traditions, there are specific dietary laws, such as the prohibition of pork and the fasting during Ramadan, which have deeply influenced the preparation and consumption of food. During Ramadan, Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset, and the meal that breaks the fast, known as iftar, is often a large communal affair featuring dates, soup, and various regional delicacies. Similarly, in Christian communities, festive foods are often prepared for Easter or Christmas, reflecting the intertwining of religion and cuisine. Middle Eastern cuisine is also distinct for its reliance on fresh, local ingredients. Unlike the processed foods common in many parts of the world today, Middle Eastern dishes typically feature fresh vegetables, fruits, grains, and lean proteins. Staples like olive oil, garlic, and lemon are frequently used, contributing to the region's reputation for healthy, flavorful dishes. The Mediterranean diet, which overlaps significantly with Middle Eastern food, is renowned for its health benefits, such as reducing the risk of heart disease and promoting longevity. However, the globalization of food has had both positive and negative effects on Middle Eastern cuisine. On one hand, traditional dishes like hummus, falafel, and shawarma have gained international popularity, introducing global audiences to the flavors of the region. On the other hand, the rise of fast food and processed ingredients has led to a decline in the traditional methods of preparation, with some recipes being altered to cater to Western tastes. This tension between maintaining authenticity and adapting to global food trends continues to shape the modern Middle Eastern culinary landscape. Beyond the kitchen, Middle Eastern cuisine holds profound political and cultural significance. Food has often been used as a means of cultural expression and resistance, particularly in regions affected by conflict. For instance, Palestinian cuisine is seen by many as a symbol of identity and resistance amid ongoing territorial disputes. Similarly, in countries like Syria and Iraq, where war and displacement have uprooted communities, traditional food provides a connection to home and heritage, serving as a reminder of cultural resilience in the face of adversity. In conclusion, Middle Eastern cuisine is much more than a collection of recipes. It is a living testament to the region's complex history, diverse cultures, and enduring traditions. From its role in religious and social rituals to its impact on global food trends, the cuisine of the Middle East continues to be a vibrant and essential part of cultural identity in the region and beyond. Article 3. The science of neuroplasticity and brain rehabilitation. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's remarkable ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. This concept was once thought to be limited to early childhood when the brain was developing most rapidly. However, more recent research has demonstrated that neuroplasticity continues throughout adulthood, allowing the brain to adapt to new experiences, injuries, and diseases. The term comes from neuro, meaning brain or nervous system, and plasticity, indicating the brain's capacity to mold or change. Neuroplasticity is essential in brain rehabilitation, especially after injury or illness. When certain brain cells are damaged, neighboring cells often take over their function, compensating for the loss. This process is a crucial element of recovery for stroke survivors and individuals suffering from traumatic brain injuries (TBIS). Rehabilitation therapies aim to enhance neuroplasticity, promoting recovery of lost functions or the development of new strategies to overcome impairments. Several mechanisms drive neuroplasticity, including synaptic plasticity, where the strength of synapses between neurons changes, and cortical remapping, where entire brain regions reassign their functions. For instance, after stroke affects the motor area responsible for controlling movement, adjacent regions may gradually assume some of these functions. Additionally, neurons may form new connections with neighboring neurons, allowing previously unused or underused neural circuits to become active. One of the key insights in the science of neuroplasticity is that certain conditions and activities enhance the brain's capacity for plasticity. Physical exercise, mental training, and specific rehabilitation techniques like constraint-induced movement therapy (CIMT) have been shown to improve neuroplasticity. For example, CIMT involves restricting the movement of a healthy limb to encourage the use of a weaker or paralyzed limb, promoting brain changes that facilitate motor recovery. Moreover, the brain's plasticity is highly dependent on environmental factors and stimuli. Research indicates that environments rich in sensory, cognitive, and motor activities foster greater neural adaptability. In contrast, monotony and lack of stimulation may hinder neuroplasticity, slowing down the rehabilitation process. This principle is one reason why diverse and engaging rehabilitation exercises are so critical in post-injury recovery programs. Beyond recovery from injury, neuroplasticity plays a role in normal learning and memory processes. Whenever we learn a new skill, whether it's playing a musical instrument or solving a math problem, neuroplasticity is at work. The repeated activation of neural circuits strengthens the connections between neurons, making the brain more efficient at performing the learned task over time. However, while neuroplasticity allows for positive changes, it can also lead to maladaptive outcomes. For instance, in the case of chronic pain or certain mental health conditions like depression and anxiety, the brain may reinforce harmful patterns of activity. This negative plasticity, as some researchers call it, can exacerbate symptoms and make treatment more challenging. Recent advances in brain imaging technologies, such as functional magnetic resonance imaging (fMRI) and electroencephalography (EEG), have allowed scientists to observe neuroplasticity in real time. These tools provide insights into how different areas of the brain activate during various tasks and how these patterns evolve with rehabilitation. Understanding these mechanisms at a deeper level could pave the way for more effective therapies targeting specific neural circuits to optimize recovery. While neuroplasticity offers great promise, there are still many unknowns. Not all individuals respond to rehabilitation in the same way, and factors such as age, severity of injury, and pre-existing conditions influence the brain's capacity for change. Future research is focusing on enhancing the effectiveness of neuroplasticity-based treatments, potentially through pharmacological interventions that boost brain plasticity or personalized therapy plans tailored to each patient's unique neural profile. In conclusion, the science of neuroplasticity has revolutionized the way we understand the brain's capacity for adaptation and recovery. From stroke rehabilitation to learning new skills, neuroplasticity is at the heart of many essential brain functions. As research progresses, it holds the potential to unlock new therapies and rehabilitation techniques that could dramatically improve outcomes for individuals suffering from brain injuries and neurological diseases. Article 4. The impact of urbanization on wildlife habitats. Urbanization, defined as the expansion of human settlements into rural areas, is one of the most significant global trends of the 21st century. This shift from rural to urban living has resulted in vast land conversions, disrupting natural ecosystems that once supported a variety of wildlife species. Cities expand, forests, grasslands, and wetlands are transformed into residential, commercial, and industrial zones, leaving less space for wildlife to thrive. Urbanization not only fragments habitats but also introduces new environmental challenges such as pollution and human-wildlife conflicts. One of the most immediate effects of urbanization on wildlife is habitat loss. Species that rely on specific types of environments for shelter, food, and breeding are especially vulnerable when those habitats are altered or destroyed. For example, amphibians that depend on wetlands for reproduction may struggle to survive as their breeding grounds are drained to make way for urban developments. Similarly, large mammals like bears and wolves, which require vast territories, are forced to compete for limited space as urban areas encroach upon their habitats. Fragmentation is another consequence of urbanization. When large, continuous habitats are divided by roads, buildings, and other human-made structures, it becomes more difficult for wildlife to move freely between areas. This isolation can lead to reduced genetic diversity as populations become confined to smaller pockets of land. Additionally, animals may be forced to cross dangerous roads or venture into human-populated areas in search of food or mates, leading to increased mortality rates. Pollution in its various forms also significantly impacts wildlife living near urban areas. Air pollution, often a byproduct of industrial activities and increased vehicular traffic, affects not only human health but also the respiratory systems of animals. Water pollution, caused by runoff from roads, factories, and agricultural lands, contaminates rivers and lakes, making them unsuitable for aquatic species. Noise pollution, often overlooked, can disrupt communication among animals that rely on sound for mating, hunting, or avoiding predators. Human-wildlife conflicts are increasingly common in urbanized regions. As cities expand into natural habitats, encounters between humans and animals become more frequent, sometimes resulting in negative outcomes for both parties. Wildlife, attracted by readily available food sources such as garbage, may venture into urban areas where they are often viewed as pests or threats. In extreme cases, such as with large predators, these conflicts can lead to the culling of animals to protect human populations. Despite these challenges, some species have managed to adapt to urban environments. Opportunistic species such as raccoons, pigeons, and rats thrive in cities, taking advantage of the abundant food and shelter provided by human infrastructure. These animals have developed behaviors that allow them to coexist with humans, but their success is often at the expense of more specialized species that cannot adapt as easily to urban settings. Conservationists are increasingly focused on mitigating the negative effects of urbanization on wildlife. One approach is the creation of urban green spaces, such as parks and nature reserves, which can serve as refuges for wildlife within city limits. Another strategy involves the design of wildlife corridors, which allow animals to move safely between fragmented habitats. Efforts to reduce pollution and manage human-wildlife interactions through education and policy changes are also crucial components of conservation strategies in urban areas. In conclusion, urbanization presents significant challenges to wildlife, from habitat loss and fragmentation to pollution and human-wildlife conflicts. While some species have adapted to life in cities, many others are struggling to survive in increasingly urbanized landscapes. Moving forward, it is essential for urban planners, policymakers, and conservationists to work together to ensure that cities can grow without completely displacing the wildlife that once thrived in these areas.